But this just sort of really takes away, I think, from, I guess, you know, the creative process to some extent. Hello, I hope all is well. So today I thought we'd look at this little beast over here, which is an Ibanez SR505. Now we're going to be looking at this from the perspective of a guitarist because, well, I'm a guitarist. I do know how to play bass, but I approach the instrument very much like a guitarist. But the real reason I was looking at this was simply because I was getting a bit sick of, just programming bass MIDI. And if that sounds familiar, then maybe this is interesting for you. So onto the bass itself, it has this really nice plain finish. It has these Bartolini pickups. It has an active circuit inside as well. And I believe the controls are along the lines of, you know, bass, middle, treble. And then there's a pickup blend switch. So depending on how you go from between one side or the other, you'll have more of one or the other pickup, and then global volume. So this is a 5-string bass, so it's tuned standard, B, E, A, D, G. And the reason that I went for the 5-string is simply because, well, for Droga, we're tuned in drop B. So for demos and things like that I'm doing on a drop B guitar, I can kind of easily transpose it to this. There's sometimes a bit more of a stretch, but it's certainly doable and then really quick to do. And here's a quick shot of the back of the instrument as well. So one particular thing here is the neck. So I don't know if you can really see how this translates, but it's a really thin, super comfortable neck. And the thing here is it's not super wide as well. So it really has this nice and easy kind of feel to it. So it doesn't feel like you've got this huge kind of neck that you've got to make your way around. So it makes it very, very easy and comfortable to play, which I think is ideal as well if you're coming from, say, guitar like I am. So yeah, with the bass, you know, there's a few controls that may be different than on the guitar. So for one, there's this blend knob that goes between the bridge pickup and the neck pickup. And so this way you can blend in how much of the bridge pickup or the neck pickup that you want in either tones, or get a blend of both. So we can have just like the neck pickup. Or we can have just the bridge pickup. Or a perfect blend of both when we set it to the middle. So this has scratchy pots, or at least on that knob, but yeah, nothing I think that I can't fix. So I did buy this used, so yeah, it's kind of seen some wear and tear over the years, but otherwise it's in pretty good nick. And then along with this, we also have the active EQ on board as well. So we've got bass, middle, and treble. And well, they make a big difference to the sound of the instrument. With the bass on full, and then adding in the mids on full as well. And then finally adding treble on full to this as well. So the cool thing is you can really dial in like a really kind of throaty or meaty kind of bass sound that is already sounding great off the bat. And this, of course, is just going straight into my interface. So this is going straight into the DI. And that's where I think like active circuits in basses can really kind of excel. And that makes things really easy as well when you're recording afterwards. Now I'd probably just pull the treble back a tiny bit from full on, and then get a sound like this, which I think will work quite well in the sort of stuff I'm playing. So yeah, I think that's pretty good and can work on a bunch of different kind of tracks that I might want to put together. And now the thing here, of course, is that there's some really, really good plugins for bass that are out there already. And one that's sort of typically for heavy stuff that I think just does everything out of the box is Neural DSP's Parallax. So I put together a short track using Parallax on the bass, which we'll have a listen to now. So yeah, that's sounding pretty good or pretty brutal. Now, obviously there's a bit of mixing that's on the track as well, but for the bass tone, and I'll solo that so you can just hear what it's doing. And specifically, parallax is doing a whole lot. Now, just a quick note on that bass tone. So there's not that much going on in front of parallax. So I've got some low cuts, high cuts, and a small dip under 160 to clean up the muddiness. The Extressor, which is simply, like a distressor plugin, so a compressor plugin. And this really does a lot for your DI signal, I think, going in. And then all of that is in front of parallax over here. And I've gone for one of the Jacob Umansky presets. And then I have another EQ after the plugin that's just doing another low cut and a high cut to further clean things up after parallax. And then track spacer is just a kind of side chain compressor thing so that it can duck the bass a tiny bit when the bass drum or the kick drum is hitting. And the main reason I got this as well to avoid doing this, and I'll just open up a new track to give you some idea. I've loaded Eurobass on here, but it's not about the sound, but in essence it involves doing something like this. Now, I'm not a huge fan of MIDI editing in Reaper, but this just sort of really takes away, I think, from, I guess, the creative process to some extent, because yeah, you can draw in the different notes and get the timing right and do this properly and then get it to sound right. And you'll get a great result, I think, as well. But for me, at least, the time spent kind of either playing the bass in through a keyboard or trying to draw it in, it's much more fun to actually just play it on an actual bass. So ultimately, this is the reason why I got this bass, and I'm really glad I did. So it's maybe not all great, and I'm not sure if it's because of how thin this actual instrument is. So you can kind of see how thin this is, and because of that it's maybe a tiny bit sharp when it's kind of like resting on your leg. But then I guess it's kind of like a minor point, because I'm not going to be I won't have this on my lap for the whole day kind of tracking bass lines. It's typically I'll do the guitars first, and then I'll track the bass to, say, a double tracked guitar, and then put the rest of it together. So all in all, if you're wondering, should I get a bass to supplement my guitar when doing productions and things like that, I can heartily recommend it. It's a bit of an investment, and putting a bit more money into something like this to get something that's really nice to play. Just to give some idea, I think this retails around 800 euros new. I picked it up underneath 400 euros. I think it was 350 euros actually. And typically you can find them between around the 350, 400 euros mark on the used market if you keep your eye out. In any case, I hope you got something out of that. I hope to see you in the next video. Take care.